Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. A genuine leap forward for the series in many ways, most notably for introducing free skating around levels during career mode. No more 2-minute timer, you're free to wander these stages to your heart's content. I spent so much time as a kid exploring in this and later games. The introduction of this format for the series probably played a part in why I love weird little spots in games. There are so many interesting little nooks and crannies to discover, and today I'll show off some of my favorites. Welcome to Video Game World Tours. College. What a great first level for the game. I'm sure many a skater found themselves skating in areas exactly like this. It's familiar. The relative safeness of this stage contrasts well with some of the wackier stages you'll later come across. It's a good starter. Oh man, where do we go first? Levels are big in this game. I guess we'll just head this way and go through the stage counterclockwise. That's what feels most natural to me. Over here is where the football stadium is. I always thought this area was interesting. The rest of the stage is so bright and welcoming. This spot feels unwelcoming. It's so gray and claustrophobic. I guess this isn't the main entrance to the stadium because there's only a couple doors and they're labeled as staff only. I'd hope these aren't the only doors inside. That definitely wouldn't be up to code. This would likely turn up on the channel Fascinating Horror titled like Deadliest Football Game Ever, The California College Crush of 2004. I'd watch that video. Nearby is a building. I wasn't really expecting to find out what type of building it was, but looky here. Engineering department. Kinda hard to read the text below it. Established in 1948 by Hugh G. Rection. You can actually skate through the building at points. Downstairs is a hallway that's open. No doors even. Interesting. Also, isn't that handicap icon reversed? I feel like the person in the wheelchair always looks the other way. Yeah, look at the search results here. They literally all have the person facing to the right, while the sign in-game has him facing to the left. Should someone be fired for that blunder? Let me know in the comments. Some more hallways to explore upstairs. It's very hard to tell, but I think the text on this door says H2O. It's on all the doors. Guess they're all the water room. There's a pathway back on the ground floor that sticks out to me for some reason. It's just so barren. No posters on the wall, no benches, no anything to give this little space flavor. You know me, I'm drawn to empty spots in games. This is a good one. There's a cafeteria in this building here, up on the second floor specifically. Got all the tables and chairs for people to dine at. And over here is the register. The layout doesn't feel quite right. Let me explain. So you come out through this elevator. A correctly facing handicap sign, worth taking note of there. Anyway, you're here. You want to buy some food. So you walk over here and presumably there's a line. This is a college after all. You take your place in line. People come in behind you and you slowly shuffle forward. You check out at the register and you're ready to eat. Only you can't turn around and go back the way you came because it's so narrow here. The other people in line would be blocking you. Maybe you could try and sneak by, but it seems too cramped for that. So you gotta go all the way around. Such a weird design for a cafeteria. I guess people could line up going this way instead. That'd maybe make a bit more sense. But it still feels like a weird layout choice. Plus, this pathway is way too narrow with you being right up against the window. That'll throw me off no matter what. I think this is the most time any player has spent on this floor here. Maybe I'll just move on. This building feels properly historical. Like it was probably one of the first buildings built in this whole space. It just has that aura to it. I like this space behind the clock tower. It's cozy. Also, this big gaping hole in the back of it is funny. Like, I could understand a single door here to access an internal stairwell that lets you reach the top. But no, this is a car-sized hole carved into the back of it. Sure, why not? This open space is super chill. If I went to this school, I'd totally sit in the grass here and just read. It's a vibe for sure. This building always stuck out to me in this stage, and I never really stopped to see what it was. Campus security. Huh. Now I know, and I guess you do too. Nothing super interesting on the street, I don't think. Nah. Oh, there's some movies showing. Dirt Road Detour and Two in the Bush. Last spot I want to look at is the basketball court. It's fun to watch the AI for these characters move them around. This guy trying to block will get himself into some funny positions every now and then. Hopefully he does now that I'm recording. But knowing my luck, he'll be perfectly normal now that he's on camera. It's like he knows. San Francisco is the second stage in the game. I'm about to talk about an aspect of these games that I'm 100% sure nobody has ever talked about, maybe even thought about. I'm convinced that I am the only person in the entire world up to this point that has ever thought about the path your character skates when you don't touch the controller after loading in. Have you ever thought about that? Of course you haven't. Don't even try to lie to me. I've had this concept in the back of my mind for a while. I'm only bringing it up now because I think it's funny in this stage. I loaded in here and looked away while I wrote something in the script. I came back and I was bouncing back and forth near this table. I think it's interesting because it's the same every time you load into a stage, considering most objects are static, and the ones that aren't always reset at the same point. Well, I guess the path does change depending on your stats. I had max stats and that led me to this table trap. But if I lower Tony's speed stat by just 2 points, he doesn't go as high in the quarter pipe here and things completely change. It's like the butterfly effect. Every stage has one of these paths, and once you hit max stats, as most players eventually do, we'll all go through these stages in the same way. A lot of the time, you'll get stuck in a place pretty early. Other times, you'll be going for a while. But it almost always ends with you in a loop, doing the same actions over and over. Alright, enough of that. What about the actual details to be found here? Back behind this building near the start is well, I'm not really sure what you'd call this space. I just know that this line here is legendary. This was the place I would come to if I wanted a high score. You can crank out some easy millions without breaking a sweat. I bet people much better than me could really go on for a while in this spot. You kinda get a familiarity with this place, going back and forth, noticing the same details as you loop through it dozens of times. It's cozy. Heading over to the other side of the stage, you get the pier. Maybe this is just me and my lack of pier experience, but this reminds me of the pier in GTA 5. Zyber Station. That's an early 2000s hip arcade name for sure. I Was a Teenage Producer, the ride. Gonna be honest, that sounds like a boring ride. I'm like 90% sure that that's a producer for the game. That's just how Easter eggs like this go. I kinda like the raised path here, especially this dead end that leads you to a door. You can't go through, no skaters allowed. Over here is a little commercial area. Got some businesses that one could theoretically enter. The Nokia store, they definitely got a sponsorship with this game. Oh my god, look at those phones! They are comically large. Maybe that's just how big cell phones are in the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater universe. Anything's possible. I like this raised ledge. You can even jump on top of the awning to this building. I wanted to get up there to where that bush is, but it seems like they really don't want you to. There's a dingy corner to this commercial area over on the side. No storefronts, no posters, it's just a gray wall. Equal parts sad and scary. Some shady dealings go on over here, no doubt. My absolute most favorite spot on the stage, though, is nearby. It's just up these stairs. There is nothing in here. Well, there's a single cash pickup in that elevator during the career mode, but that's it. Going in the elevator doesn't take you anywhere, but you can enter another elevator and come out here. Why? Maybe it's part of a goal that I'm forgetting? It definitely doesn't fit into a line or anything. If you try to combo through the elevator, you'll be stopped dead in your tracks after teleporting. From a level design perspective, it doesn't make much sense, especially in a game like this where you need to link lines together over long distances. But as a lonely spot, I dig it. Alcatraz. Okay, I guess we're visiting crazy locations pretty early into this game. The no input line is pretty boring in this stage. It has you doing a short loop around the start and throws you into the water pretty quickly, restarting it all. Eventually, for some reason, you'll eventually go off course and wander out into the rest of the stage. Who knows how long until you get into a loop out there. I don't want to talk about that line for every stage. I was thinking about making a video on these someday, but I don't know if anyone else is interested in that concept. I feel crazy focusing on it for the little bit I already have. Anyway, Alcatraz. Got a lot of tourists here. You can knock them in the water. That's kinda mean. I went to the Wikipedia page to learn about when Alcatraz shut down. I got distracted and saw that you could reach the island from Pier 33. Wait, I remember seeing a pier number on the side of one of the buildings in San Francisco. Maybe that's Pier 33? Huh. No, that's Pier 39. Though I wonder... How about that? Pier 39 is a real place. Look, there's the ramp that leads to the second level I skated up earlier. Shouldn't be surprised. These games are known for replicating real-life spots. Wait, didn't we finish talking about San Francisco? Okay, Alcatraz. Let's get to some spots. This is a spot we visited during the no input line. It's secluded. I like the greenery, though I guess there's no shortage of that in this stage considering how long this place has been out of use. This deck is a spot I didn't really know existed. I can't remember if there's anything here during the career mode goals. It goes all the way around and spits you back out here, but ain't nobody taking that path. Now that we're here, I never really liked this area of the stage. It has bad vibes. It's not fun to skate around, and the aesthetic feels off. I'm used to showcasing spots I do like in these videos, but I never really thought to show off spots that uniquely upset me. This is one of them. This little building is cute though. It's obviously dedicated to the Foghorn, but the building feels so small. And the way that it narrows further inside, why is it so short on this end? While I was on Wikipedia, I found out that the lighthouse on Alcatraz is apparently the oldest operating one on the West Coast. Just a fun fact for you so you can say you learned something today. Also, the bathroom teleports you. That's kinda weird. Anyway, back up here you have the prison cells. I must say, in retrospect, it feels really weird to have this be a level in a skating game. Like, super dangerous criminals were put here in real life. People died on this island. Hell, the ghosts of prisoners hang out here and yell out tricks for you to do. I'm not saying they shouldn't have included it or anything. It's just a funny thing to think about. We had a weirdo stage in the first game with Roswell. Then you were in a bull ring in the second game. Now we're in the famous real-life prison Alcatraz. The people at Neversoft sure did know how to pick some great level locations. The next stage is Kona. Man, of all the stages in the game, this is probably one of the most boring thematically. It's just a skate park. I literally just made a point about how great this series is when it comes to picking wacky and out there stage locations. Right after skating on Alcatraz of all places, you're thrown into Kona, the world's oldest surviving skate park. There's actually a video in the game that shows off some real old footage of people skating here. Kinda cool to see that. But it sounds kinda boring compared to all the other stages, right? Actually, I kinda love it. As nice as the more out there stages are, I really appreciate having a simplistic one like this every now and then. No cars speeding around to trip you up, no ramps that wouldn't make sense in-world, basically just no nonsense. There's a lot of visual noise in stages like College or San Francisco. Here, it's calming. There's so much empty space. It does make some areas awkward to combo through, like this portion of the stage. If you transfer into it from these ramps here, you have to hold some long manuals and you lose a lot of speed. You probably won't even be able to transfer out because you've lost so much. The level design isn't working that great here. But aesthetically, I love it. It's just so barren. Coming from Alcatraz, which is so claustrophobic at points, I feel like I can breathe here. And that's saying nothing of the space just outside of the skate park. Look at all this grass. Having done the Sonic R video recently, I'm reminded of a point I made in that. It's interesting to see how they drew the line for the boundary of the stage way back here. Like the fence could have been right up against the concrete, or even have it a couple feet away from it. But no, they give you all this space. It's so freeing. Huh, there's a little camp out here. I never noticed that before. Oh, you know what? That's probably where Ollie the Magic Bum calls home. It seems like a semi-permanent encampment, what with the couch and grill there. He's got a nice thing going on. Good for him. The final stage of the video. And surprise, we're not going to the next stage of the career mode. Sorry Shipyard, you'll have your time to shine in part 2. Instead, we'll cover a stage you might have forgot was even in this game. Practice. Yeah, you get to play in the little half pipe that's the background for the main menu. And I'd say this does count as a stage, because there's cash for you to collect and gaps for you to hit. There's not much of anything to show off. I just think it's cool that you can come here. In any other game, I'd imagine the only way to play this stage would be through a debug menu or something. But no, just hit that little practice button when you pick a character and you get right into it. It's charming. This whole game is charming, especially the levels we looked at today. What about the other levels, I hear you ask? Well, you'll just have to check out part 2. It'll drop right before the THPS 3+4 remake in July. Keep an eye out. I'm super excited to play that game, and yeah, I'll be making videos on it. I'll have to get around to making some videos on the first remake too. It'll be interesting to compare the levels. Thanks for watching, Pretizens, and see you next time.